game on. I'm putting you in the driver's seat. I am here to absolutely serve. So please take notes. This is going to be like a workshop, and I'm going to really challenge you in asking me questions, and I will personalize all this so that you can actually, and I want to, this is the outcome of what I want to happen from the sales training. I want you to feel confident that with us, with OpenExO, you can build $1 million plus ARR, annual recurring revenue, consulting practice, helping and align with us to transform the world for a better future. I'm not messing around, right? So you can challenge me on any comment I make around, will this serve me to build my own practice of being an EXO consultant in my neck of the woods, right? Because we all have careers. Eugene, you got 40 years. Dale, you got 40, 50 years. Like you're in Silicon Valley, but within the Silicon Valley, Dale, you are like within, like you've got OD, you've got operations, you got semiconductors, you see, my point is 000. And in that market alone, it's $1 billion company, multi-billion dollar marketplace. So I want you to feel confident, and I will coach you after this on how you make your Rolodex produce $1 million in revenue, and you take a piece of it being one of our representatives and part of our community, supporting Salim, supporting us, transform the world for a better future. So I've been a sales guy. I started knocking on doors 35 years ago, selling chicken, seafood, and steaks out of a truck in the hills of Kentucky. In India, I was hustling. I've always been a sales guy. I wrote a book on sales. The market has changed our view. Oh, by the way, find me on LinkedIn, and I've got my contact at the back. Send me an email. And if you're in the US, I'll bite it and I'll send you a signed copy. We'll have to figure out. I still have about 400 books left, right? But I've been in sales. I've sold hundreds of millions, literally 150, 200, no, 375, somebody calculated once, millions of dollars of IT services into the business world. Then I've turned businesses around. I've been a consultant for 20 years, helping companies scale. So I get sales, and I'm bringing that, obviously that history with you. But the minute I finished the consulting program, and I found the power of EXO. One of my clients that I started, Eugene, you and I were in the class together, right? I don't know if you remember me talking about AWS Biopharma. He's on track to do 325% growth this year, his forecast. 90 days work with me using EXO during the consulting training program. He was my case study, right? You got to pick a target. You pick a client and say, hey, what do I do here? What do I do there? And we were both learning at the same time. But the changes I made with him, he's going to finish this year 325% more than last year. And that changed my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh. And guys, I want that for you. This works. All right. So I'm bringing you all that. So I've broken out this presentation into about 4 or 5 parts. It's a training course I've done. I've been mentoring startups in the Silicon Valley in Palo Alto with the Founder Institute for 7, 8 years now. I teach this class. That's a 10-slide deck. I've made this like 22 slides because I've hyper personalized it for you. But these are my fundamentals, right? The part of it is from the book, but part of all this is from the gospel according to Paul, right? So let's go. People don't get it, especially in this AI revolution, guys. In our world, all business is personal, right? So people always do something when they care about, but first, it's got to make sense to me. Am I going to get the help I need, right? Does every product you're selling impacts people? It supports people. Like our space of possibility is based on Salim's trust in the market. How many phone calls have I got? Hey, I was watching Salim on a podcast. I really like what he's doing. I got a call from a billionaire in his assistant call and said, our founder in Saudi Arabia, in Dubai, our founder listened to Salim in 2017, has never forgotten, and he wants to grow his business. That's that brand trust. Trust, brand identity. Something touches somebody and they say, okay, I want to buy from this person. So all business personal, guys, think about it in your life, right? The best deals you've had, they ended up becoming friends, or you really had a rapport. And like, oh shit, I think we're going to do deals. Like you go for an interview. You never get hired in a company where the interview sucked and you didn't understand each other. right? Or when you close a deal, when you have a bad like meeting and you're not making sense, it never happens. But when that you have that feeling of, oh my gosh, we got game here. Now I say that because I want you to anchor in that. I want you to trust your gut. And I want you to focus your speaking at a personal level. Don't talk about EXO. Don't talk about this thing in the sky. All the big numbers. We got great numbers. 152 countries, 40,000 people. They want to know, do you care about them? All right? So remember that. Now let's bring it back home, guys. What's your MTP? Right? Because people want to know what your story is. Like, let me go back up a slide. My MTP, helping people find joy. I've done that my entire life. I've been a spiritual healer. I had the gift of healing. I traveled the world. I met my wife teaching meditation in Tokyo. I've done Simon Sinek's work for years. For 20 years, I've always been helping people find joy. I never found the revenue model in meditation and healing, so I started turning businesses around. I went to the same guys, like, oh, you have a business. Let me show you how I can turn your business around. And literally, me in my power of my MTP, I was at a Unity Church in Athens, Georgia, teaching meditation and healing. Somebody in the audience was a CEO of a company. And he said, I love what you're doing. I love what you're saying. Can you turn my business around? And back in 2003, doing what I do best, helping people find joy, I got the opportunity to launch my consulting practice, and I've never turned back. I'm here to tell you, anchor in your MTP. Why are you doing any of this? What are your goals? Who do you serve? Own it as a badge. Wear your heart on your sleeve. Because people want to know who you are and why you're here. Why are you even talking to them? It doesn't have to be a grand idea, like I want to solve world hunger. It just has to be authentic to you in your current stage of life. And from that, because all we want to do is transform the world for a better future. When my MTP has been, I want to help people find joy, and then I reconnect with Salim, and I actually known each other for many 20-something years in New York, when I was doing a lot in the healing world, actually. And I re-engaged, and I found out, I understood his MTP. It was perfect alignment, right? Transforming the world for a better future, helping people find joy. I was talking to one of our ambassadors, the ExO ambassadors, and we were talking about it just a week ago. And she said, yeah, it's one person, one business, one barrio at a time. So wherever you on the planet, serve. Who do you serve? Transform the world for a better future, but bring alignment to what you're doing. Now, we got the personal stuff out of the way. You're on board, you're on the right bus, and I want you to be on the revenue seat. I want to make sure that you're making money. Because if you're not making money, we should part ways, because you're wasting time. Go find something else to do and make money. That is an open invitation and a promise that I'm making to each one of you, right? You got to put the mask on yourself first, guys. Be selfish, be authentic, make money. So let's understand how revenue happens. It happens when people have a problem they cannot solve themselves. Think about this. Foundational. You cannot make a sale of something that somebody can do by themselves. Think about it. So I don't care what you have to sell. If who you're selling to in their mind knows they can do it without you, walk away, run away from those people. Stop selling, start supplying solutions. 5 S's. It's not on the slide. Write 5 S's down. Stop selling. Stop shoving down OpenExO down somebody's throat. I mean, evangelize. Oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun with OpenExO. I love the work. We've tried this and tried that. And then wait for the question. Oh, tell me more about it. Oh, man, that's fantastic. I could use it. I don't know how to do that. Can you help me? Boom. Now you have a space of possibility. Another thing, guys. We could do 45 minutes on this slide alone. You can't make revenue if they don't have a budget. So I don't care how big the problem is. Don't try to solve problems. I'm saying don't sell OpenExO. Don't solve problems. Don't say, what are your problems? Everybody's got damn problems. I wish I had hair, right? But I'm living with it. So you try to sell me a wig, not interested. I look better without hair. Right? I like who I am. But the question is, if there is no budget, you don't have a deal. So you solve what? Only funded projects, only funded problems. And you can't make revenue unless they pick you. It's like going to a dance and all the pretty girls, you got to pick one girl. There's nothing wrong with the other girls, but you're going to pick one girl at the dance. So make sure you're that girl that they pick. And you got to figure out what is the angle? Why would they pick me? And very rarely does it always come down to trust. You got to find the angles. I mean, to revenue or pricing. It comes down to trust. They've got to trust that you can solve this problem they have that they got a small budget for in a way that makes sense for them. And that, oh, my boss would like you. Oh, my boss would like this. Or the team, I think we're in sync with the team. And I've got my entire sales process aligned around that. Here's another alternative perspective, right? I actually say, if you anchor on the prehistoric terms of marketing and sales, they're prehistoric, guys. We're in the revenue game. We are in the engagement game. Oh, by the way, we have an attribute called engagement. But revenue happens when your marketing activity, if you're reaching out to sales, on LinkedIn and Navigator and having conversations with people, and your pre-sales activity when you're talking a little more specifics about their problem, right? And how your solutions help in general. When they say, oh, I'm sort of interested. And then when you figure out they got money and timelines and budget and all that stuff, you say, okay, let's really talk about your problems and design a solution. That's a sales process. And then you deliver, right? And then you make sure they have a great experience. And then you upsell and cross-sell, produce a new product. When all that comes together, you will start developing a revenue generation engine. Otherwise, you might have a sale, one transaction, and if you don't deliver properly, or you don't do your pre-sales work properly, it'll be the wrong solution. You're gonna have a bad customer experience, and you're gonna lose your brand value. All these pieces have to come together. I should actually add this line, right? There's one more word below this. That's what I call the new paradigm. It's one of our attributes, guys. Engagement. That's the pitch. That's the playing field, right? One of my favorite slides. These are inconvenient realities. Stop selling. There are no sales cycles. There's only a buying cycle. Your sales process has got a map to your customer's buying cycle. Think about that. When did you ever say, oh, I got a cold call from a sales guy. How are you doing, sweetheart? No, I'm not going to do that. But you love to talk to a sales guy. Like this morning, I was looking at 500 S550 GT Mustangs with a Coyote engine. Why? I have no idea. But I was like, always love the Mustang. But if I'm going to do a Mustang, I'm going to do that kind of a Mustang. And if a sales guy called me today, I'd spend 45 minutes talking to him about it. But he wouldn't have a deal because I don't have a budget, nor do I care about buying the car. I have no timelines. So there's only his possibilities only if I have a buying cycle. So map your sales process to your prospects' buying cycle. If you're not in revenue, guys, and this applies to a lot of us here, you're in fantasy. I don't care how slick your product is, your solution, you're building IT, you're building AI. Show me the transaction value. Show me the angle. Show me the process where somebody is going to give you a check. If you're not in revenue, you're in fantasy. And if you talk to me, I'll always bring you back to show me where the deal's going to come from. How much are you going to make? So please ground your value, your offer, your space of possibility in transaction value. Sustainable business is anchored in lasting relationships. My degree is in social work, my master's degree when I came from India. And I used to do intake for social services for people needing help. I used to run an agency and do fundraising, and I was a lobbyist with United Way, but I started off helping people. Guys, that nonprofit work, Travelers Aid in Cincinnati, right? It's a nonprofit. It's exactly the sales process. It's always about serving people. There's an element of humanity and service in sales. We call it authenticity. We call it alignment. What is the ABC of sales? It's not always be closing, guys. My new version is always be caring. Honor your relationships. If your offering is the wrong service, have the decency to walk away. Then say, let me make a referral. I don't think this is the right solution. Right? Build those lasting relationships of trust. It's not about solving problems, it's about solving budgeted problems. Always ask for the budget. Is there a budget? I mean, I understand, I can help you, but tell me how big is do you have a budget? Because now you can tailor, right? You can tailor the solution. We are magic men. We manifest stuff. So you're like, hey, like we have the EXO Ready program. I launch with it's a $30,000 solution, and I want you to do the same. Qualify companies that have, large enough to afford that. But I can downsell. Oh, you don't have that. I'm making an offer right now. They have 60 people, 40 customer service, 20 salespeople. Large company, 16,000 folks. This is in actually South Africa. And they're like, if they didn't balk at $30,000, but if they balked at 30 and like, oh, we don't have that in the budget, I'll be like, that's fine. Let me just work with the two founders at $15,000. And if that doesn't work, I sold one deal, OpenExO. They came for my discovery call. Within 2 hours, I had a check for $10,000 because of one person doing the same thing. We just scaled it down. It's the same 4 steps in 90 days. You got to build that flexibility so you can rock and roll, fit the budget, make it personal, serve people, right? And work with their budget, solve their problems that they cannot solve themselves. Now you have revenue. And oh, by the way, you want to scale it down so that you're making some profit. You got to have the profit angle. If you tell me, even nonprofits, that's just a tax thing. Blue Cross Blue Shield, your sports teams, the Dallas Cup, they're all nonprofits doing millions and billions of dollars. Our insurance companies are all nonprofits. It's just a tax thing. So you always have to make profit because you will not survive if you're not making a profit. All right. Sales stages. This is fundamental, but there's a little strategy here, right? So you have a suspect, which is your TAM, right? Total, they're part of that, like total addressable market. Anybody, there's potential over there. They should be working with us. Then a lead is when they have opted in of some sort. They're like, hey, I want to learn more about this. Or you talk about, you're at a bar and you're talking about, you're drinking a good roja. You're talking to somebody, at the bar, your friend, you're reconnecting, and that's a suspect because they are business. But then if they say, oh, really, tell me more about OpenExO and what you're doing with them, because, we've been having this problem, and they identify something, that becomes a lead, and then very quickly, it starts becoming a marketing qualified lead, which is now they actually have a need. If they're interested, they're a lead. If you have one conversation and they say, I really want to improve and reduce my time to innovation, and I got to find more help. My team is not getting the right answer. Immediately, EXO, staff on demand, leverage asset, You make that in your head, it starts becoming a qualified marketing qualified lead. And I'm going to repeat myself, guys, because I want you to own this. So marketing qualified lead is when you're qualifying against 3 things. Do they have a need? Like, can you solve their problem they can't solve themselves? Do they have a budget, and what are their timelines? When you have those 3, it becomes a sales qualified lead. In that process, and I will repeat this, I will hold slide up for each one of these. So in sales qualified lead time, now you're saying, hey, let's design the solution that fits for you. So is it a $30,000, $10,000, or $15,000 solution, right? You're getting into the details. And when everybody's in agreement, so stage 4 is very collaborative. Stage 3 is diagnostic. You're asking questions. And then stage 5, you propose and negotiate, but now you're proposing what? Their numbers. Because they helped you design it. There should be no negotiation. And then their wife is going to say, or their CFO is going to say, what? And they'll start pushing back a little bit. So getting that signature and the payment is very important. Don't assume it. Right? Wives and CFOs, they'll always come back with, oh my guys, and then you got to go tweak it again. And then this is a dance. This is a dance. And then you win it, right? You do a kampai. Now, if you are building a structure, then move those one deals and have a whole, if you're in HubSpot or any CRM system, then you drop them in a different funnel for delivery. Now your salespeople, your delivery folks can look at that funnel and you manage the delivery. But there's actually a feedback loop. You have to also make sure then you follow up your account manager, or you follow up when the delivery is going on, see if there's a new opportunity. If there's a new opportunity and they say, oh, by the way, you helped us so good with this. Oh, this is important. The reason I'm saying this is expect a 12-month to 18-month engagement if one of your clients says, I want to be an EXO. It's not a 90-day. It's not do this one course. Transformation takes time, guys. It takes time. All right? So you want to be able to stay the course and figure out when you cross-sell, when you upsell, when you say, do you want fries with that? What else can I help you with? Hey, by the way, you were talking about innovation. Oh, by the way, you keep telling me that customers buy a lot the first time, but then they don't really follow up. So that's attrition. Guess you were talking about engagement. Oh, by the way, you want to expand, you don't have the resources. In your mind, you're all like, oh, that's leverage assets, that's this. You're getting a lot of complaints. Well, you don't have dashboards and people are not getting the right information. You are the specialist. You got to ask those questions, help them solve problems they can't do themselves. So then you find another opportunity that becomes a marketing qualified lead because they're already part of your system. They've got a need, and then you start going through. It becomes another deal, right? And the same. If you lose it, don't forget about them. Just figure out how to nurture them. All right. By the way, is this making sense? Any questions? Good? Awesome.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much. All right. So again, guys, I'm going to repeat, right? Because like a good wife, she'll tell you 16 times, and then you'll go to the store and get her the sugar she wants, right? I'm going to do the same thing with you. Because in learning is repetition and recurrence and reciprocity. Those are the 3 R's of learning. So MQL is, hey, you're in this stage, you're trying to qualify, do they have a need? Can I help them? Do they have a need that is bigger, they can't solve themselves, and there's a place for you? And OpenExO, right? What are the timelines? Do they want to do this now? Or like in South Africa, shit's happening and no one goes, everybody's on the beach in December. Like that client said, come back in January. Right? So what are the timelines? And then do they have a budget? So you want to keep rolling out budget numbers during this process. Yeah, we have the solution. I can customize it. It's typically because every company, we want 5 to 7 people on the team. Somebody from a CFO, we want the CEO, we want somebody in operations, we want somebody in shipping, we want somebody that's customer service. We call it a 5-layer cake. We want to have steam. So that is usually a good starting point. And then we can figure out, I'm already future pacing them for the next 18 months. So we'll start with this, right? And then once we finish, we have a clarity of where we want to go in the company, how we want to transform the business. We can then do more events, but the first is 90 days for 5 to 7 people. It's $30,000, right? And you watch and just move on. But it's a great level of engagement. It's a great starter package. It's a program because we don't want to rock the apple cart. So we like to start on the fringe. But you're already future pacing. I want to be in the fringe and I want to come in. So mentally, you're anchoring them in a transformation process. As an example, right? And if at that moment or somewhere along they say, by the way, that 30,000, man, I love what you're saying, because nobody wants to waste time. But you already put the number out. You just roll it across the table. They'll tell you. Like yesterday, I told this one lady, right, in Perth, she wants to do the coaching. She was like, I said, you really need the coaching. And she's a single person. She's going to quit her job and start her own. consulting practice. I really want to help her. We can really help. So I said, hey, it's $10,000 for 90 days. It's a lot of money, but I think it'll be worth it. And her response was, the Australian dollar is actually strong, so let me think about it. And then we talked about why please don't wait for January after you quit your job. Why don't you start now and work extra, work in the middle of the night? I said, burn the midnight oil, because I don't want you to risk launching your practice and doing marketing when you have no more job. You got to be very authentic with people. So I said, please start now. And I lean in, and over the holidays we'll work. So when you quit your job in December, come to January, you've already done the work, you got momentum. Guys, it's about ABC. Always be caring. And give people time to process the numbers. So questions you should ask. Has your board, has your boss, has your wife suggested or mandated you grow your business? By how much? Has your board approved a budget to fund this growth? If they don't have a budget, vámonos, run from them. Go find somebody else to talk. Seriously, guys, no mercy. You can't milk a stone. If it's a cow and it's got milk, that's the only time you can milk a cow. You got to qualify. Don't waste your time. When does the board want you to start this initiative? Because even CEOs, they have to do what the board tells them. Don't assume the owner, don't assume they've got the decision making. They're like, when do you want to address the strategic initiative, right? Do your people know? Does your board, does your boss, your people know about ExO, or do we have to introduce a new system? And you might be surprised. Oh, like I got this guy from Dubai. The owner, the founder, he heard Salim. So we launched with that, right? These are the questions you want to ask. And keep practicing these, right? These questions, you can't think about them. They got to be on the tip of your tongue. Who else is involved with this project? Who else do you have to talk to? Do I need to talk to your wife? Do I need to talk to the finance? Right? Eduardo, my trauma is coming up. Guys, it's all personal, right?
Latin people, it's like that.
I have 2 projects right now with a $1 billion company. We propose something and they cut it by 75%. Salim sent a proposal, which they said they wanted. They cut it by 75%. 75%!
Great.
Right? Same thing. We proposed a sprint with somebody else. It's 4 groups. They said, no, we want 2 groups. Really? That's the bean counters. We proposed training for 2,000 people. They said, let's do 250 people now, and then 250 people next January, next quarter, and then we'll do 1,500 people. That means the money will come in small, small pieces. This is reality. You have to qualify budget, timelines, and the solution. Understand their process, their buying process, guys. This is huge. So in the SQL space, when you know you've got game, you should sell these guys. This is when you want to understand their buying process. And then the same thing with propose and negotiate.
So Paul, if I might come back with a suggestion.
Please.
If you created a presentation showing them the cost of delaying in terms of the lack of improvement that they're going to get, that there's a very high cost for delay in time for implementing things. And most people don't realize it because they don't see it. So if you look at, for example, what the delay of introducing a new product is in the marketplace, it's huge if that
No, for sure, which is what that's the exact example I gave with the lady I just presented the coaching to, right? So exactly. Don't delay now, because if the risk cost, they're similar things, right?
Exactly.
Starting after you don't have income and then starting this and then giving you 90 days. I'm like, do that homework now, lay the foundation now so that you minimize risk. Absolutely, Dave. You said it right?
Right, exactly. But it's exactly that for corporations too. And corporations don't see it because they've never seen the numbers laid out that way.
Yeah.
Uh,
If
so
you've got insight that that is the case, you always have to manage risk and sometimes a carrot, sometimes a stick, right? That's a
yep,
great example. Hey, I'm here to help. Did
yep,
you know? And I like using the Columbo approach, right? The TV
mhm,
star, the old movies, like, oh, I don't know, but be innocent, right? Nobody wants an aggressive person. It's always a
yep,
smile on your face. I'm like, I was thinking, which I did for this lady.
yep,
You want to do the risk? You want to take that risk now? I'm here to help. ABC, always be close, caring. That's how the closes happen. People want to know you care. They're like, oh my gosh, thank you. I didn't think about that. That's exactly
mhm,
what she said yesterday. Oh my gosh. Now, I don't know if the deal will come, but she's like, oh my gosh, thank you. You're making a good point. And you can see the wheels turning, right?
mhm,
You got to be authentic. So, yeah, perfect, Dale. Show them the risk. Hey, we can do this now. And or if you delay, I don't know if you've thought about these consequences, and I've got a slide about that. What is the impact of inaction?
mhm,
So here, right? Um, the propose, if you do the previous slide well and really understand their buying process, this propose should go simpler because you're going to give them their budget numbers, you're going to give them their business problems that they know that the board has agreed to. We call it strategic initiatives. Your solution will be anchored in their strategic initiatives for the quarter. You'll already have the budget. Like I'm dealing with this company now. Like I literally said, which budget is this coming from? What is your purchase order number? How do you want us? I need to understand how you transact, and everybody's going to be different, right? And I cover that here. Make sure you have the right person with the right authority signing the paperwork. Don't make any assumptions on this. Which is the specific budget that they want to use for this project? Ask those questions. Right? Some company will say, that's fine, just send me an invoice. Some company will say, hey, we've got to generate a purchase order. Then we'll give you that purchase order, that number of the purchase order. Then you just put the purchase order number on your invoice, only then we'll approve it. And if you're a consultant, make sure you get paid before you do the work. And that has to be something you talk about 30 days in advance, as an example. I'm dealing with a company now, they say, no, please wait. We'll actually give you a purchase order, a whole document. There'll be a purchase number, there'll be a project name. You got to be exact on that. And then there'll be a link. And then you got to click that, send it to your CFO. And so our CFO will go, click that link, and they have to use both the right, no errors. It's almost like an EDI project submission. You got to do the right PO number with the right project name, like a date of birth and a social security number. Both those have to be in place. And the right contact person because they want to know which department to go to. Those instructions will be there. So you got to be aware of all that. Don't make any assumptions. Right? Cool. Now we go to the fun part. Part 4, qualify, qualify, qualify. Do they have a budget? Simple. Money talks, bullshit walks. You are going to get 95%. Those are my numbers. 95% of everybody you talk to doesn't have a budget. I's on the phone all day doing calls. 95, more than 95 people don't have a budget. That's okay. Always be caring. One day they will. That's why it's not marketing, it's sales, it's engagement. Engage, engage, engage. Because when you tell people what you do, that it makes sense to them, you link it to their business, they're like, oh my gosh, that'll be great. One day I want to do that, right? Then one day will come. I've been around a long time. We've all been around a long time. Don't feel bad, but don't waste your time trying to sell them if they don't have a budget. You engage them, then you quickly move on. And then you nurture the relationship. Ignore opportunities that don't have a budget. I do. I'm very polite, but I quickly move on and make an assessment. I'll nurture you. I'll never say no. I always chat, but I spend my time. I was up. I went to bed at 2 o'clock because I'm talking with Indonesia with the prospect. sending documents, talking to Kevin at 1:32 in the morning. He's in South Africa, already started working. Then I went to bed. Why? Because I'm trying to bring the deal in. Focus, focus, focus. Where there's money, right? So who's your ideal customer? Do they trust you to do business with you? This is a very important question. We make too many assumptions. Will they transact with you? I have lost business because I was too small a client. I took one of my portfolio companies. I mentor in startups, right? I took them to Amazon. Couldn't close the deal. They were too small. Took them to PwC. Couldn't close the deal. Too small. They would not transact with them. Took them to Fulton County. Too small. Wouldn't pass legal. Couldn't pass security requirements. It was a SaaS platform. Didn't have the right certifications on the security certifications, cybersecurity stuff. They won't transact with them. Too risky. Great solution, bleeding edge, too risky. Which is now an opportunity when you partner with us, you go to your customer and say, I'm working with Salim. Now they'll transact with Salim. They may not transact with you. I had so much more success with my own Rolodex, dating myself. Right? Your millennial won't know what a Rolodex is. Right? My own customer, my database, 9 of my prospects said, oh, that sounds really good, Paul. I'm in. I've been talking to them for years, not transacting with me. With OpenExO, excited to learn more. 9. This is the power of partnering with the EXO, right? If you're a consultant, you're one of our ambassadors, you've done the certification course. If you say, man, I love Salim's work, and I want to create, it's my time. I want to leverage my relationships. I want to actually be involved in transformation. Like I did, is like, oh shit, this works, man. I'm in. Right? Then join us. Call me, reach out. I'll help you build your practice in wherever you are and get you to $1 million in total revenue. We will do the work. You make the introduction. You do the qualification. You get a piece of the pie. You get a piece of the pie. You get a referral fee. And if you are doing the work, you'll get more of it. But you're not alone anymore. So assess your clients. Hey, are these the $10,000 level once a year, or are these the 30,000? Because what I want you to do is I'm assessing the ideal customer, the SMB level guys, anywhere in the world. They're doing a $30,000 engagement for the first 90 days, and then they're doing a $10,000 coaching engagement for 18 months, maybe 12 months. So immediately, because those numbers, 5 million, 10 million, even a $50 million company can do. You can do the majority of the work, and you get 5 companies, 10 companies like that. You're making good money. We're making good money. We're making progress. To me, that's the ideal SMB, right? Somebody who's between 10 million and $50 million. Now, it should be more than that if they go 20, 30, $40 million in revenue, because they'll have, hey, we need innovation. We got 2 groups. We got 3 groups. Right? So even the monthly retainer might go more, the coaching. But you should, when we position this right, guys, it's about caring. The company needs leadership for their transformation. Be that person. If you're doing your own software, if you got a SaaS application, you got an AI application, design an offer where it's not just one and done. You get them on board, you help them, and then try to really, because if you're trying to make somebody change or give them a better solution, even software. I've sold $100 million software. It's the software fee, then it's the installation fee, implementation fee, and then there's a maintenance fee. So if you're not selling EXO and you're here to learn about how to sell your product, please, these fundamentals apply. Design an offer. What should that average transaction value be? Can they afford your average transaction value? How much money do you think they should spend a year? Do they have it? And do you have an offer? What is that number? You've got to turn the lights on. Turn the lights on. It's all about the numbers. And then how long should this person stay with you? What's the lifetime value? What is that cadence? What is that cadence of engagement? What's that infinity loop? Why would they leave you? Do you go to your doctor, your primary care doctor, and then leave him? Only when there's a breakdown. My clients, for 20 years, I've been in my own consulting practice, 21, shut it down now. But I would go back to the same client. I'd stay there average 3-4 years, then they're fine, and then they'll go to the next level. They'll say, hey, Paul, can you come back and help us? And they'll be like, hey, we're trying to sell the business now. You helped us. Thank you so much. And they always stay in touch because I'm a happy guy. I've had this several times. And they're like, hey, we're getting old, and my wife and I were talking, and we're thinking of selling. That's how I got into the private equity business space. Because my clients had a problem they couldn't solve themselves. And I'm the guy, I'm a friendly guy, right? So I know everybody. Then I got in the private equity space. Now I help them again to sell their business. Became a new practice for me. This is what I'm talking about. What's the lifetime value of your accounts, right? So here, how do you get to $1 million in revenue if you're an OpenExO consultant? Focus, you don't need to spend any money, in my opinion, initially on marketing for the foreseeable future until you're making money. Especially with everybody that I know who's an EXO consultant, right? Everybody on this call. I was telling my wife when I first joined, I'm like, man, I love this community because everybody is somebody. Literally, I told her that. All of us are smart, intelligent, caring, kind people. Because if you're not, you won't relate and connect with Salim and the work he's doing, right? So we're a phenomenal group of people. So look for 10 companies, 10 people, 10 organizations, 10 leaders in your current network that you already know. That who you think is a suspect, like they should be doing business with you. You should help them, like their business shit, man. And by the way, for each one of these 10, I drank the Kool-Aid so much. I look at a company from the outside. I was sitting at an Italian restaurant having dinner for my wife's birthday. In a group of people, my mind was like, how can I make them an EXO? Do that for each one of your 10 people. And then start having conversations with them. Review the EXO model. Like, hey, I'm not sure. I was looking in from the outside. How are you guys doing? How are you engage? Are you engaging with the clients? Are you leveraging AI? Are you leveraging, do you have any plans to scale? Do you have to hire all your mechanics yourself? I was sitting at my mechanic, Navajo guy. I live on a reservation with the Navajo here in New Mexico. My mechanic, I have an old car. I love old 2004 Chevy Suburban, old car. I love the old car. Got it for free. But I love the nostalgia. And the guy's sitting, there's no shed in the sun. And I'm thinking how I can make him an EXO. Because he's getting old. Why doesn't he have friends with 2-3 mechanics? Don't even hire them. Staff on demand. And when he has a need, he calls them, but he has to prepare them for that call. Staff on demand for a mechanic on the reservation. Think like that. If you're committed, be committed. Get on the train or get off the damn train. Drink the Kool-Aid or go get a drink, go get a bourbon. My point is, if you're a consultant, do that. Find 10 clients, 10 companies, 10 prospects. Think about it. Hey, how are the business model? Engage them in conversation. You got to know them. We're too old to go after people we don't know. We all know enough people. Stop wasting time. Mind your own backyard. Start at home. If your own friends don't talk to you, go find something else to do. Why would a stranger talk to you? It's all personal, guys. Right? Ask if they have any concerns or problems. What's going on? How are you doing in the market today? Oh, we got this problem. Start there. How are they addressing this problem? Oh, by the way, did you know about OpenExO selling? That's what I'm doing. I think maybe, we should talk about it when you get that, if you're interested. Do they have a structured process to transform and change? We are in the transformation business. We're helping companies scale. It's not about the attributes. Anchor in, do they want to scale? Do they want to grow? Do they have any business problem they want to solve? I haven't even spoken about OpenExO. Don't sell OpenExO. Stop selling. Start supplying solutions. Ask them what their problems. Do they want help? Can they do it themselves? Do they have a budget? What are their timelines? Did the wife tell them to sell their business? If the answer is yes, great. Don't do that until you've made it an EXO. You'll get 10 times the value. See how I can create an opportunity with that. Oh man, I don't want to do this, I don't want to start something new. My wife wants me to sell the business. Fantastic. What is your market worth? What is your business worth now? That's how I closed that deal I was talking about that's growing 325%. He's ready. His business value was little. I said, hey, I think if we do this, because he wants to sell. He says, I got about another 2.5, 3 years. I'm done with this stuff. I've been having my business for 18 years. So I said, don't sell it now. Do this. Your value will go up and then sell it. But do this. If you don't do anything, goes back to Dale, what you said. If you don't make the changes, you're going to stay like this because you've been the same value for the last 5, 6 years. Make these changes, you're going to get 3x, 4x, 5x. So he did. I took a no and created an opportunity. No, I'm really not interested because I'm getting ready to sell the business. And I said, what do you think the business is worth? Wasn't much. I'm like, hey, here's an opportunity. That's how you convert, right? So leverage the trust that you already have. Ask them the qualifying questions that we did. I told you I was going to repeat myself. Oh shit, we got to wrap this up, right? What business problems? What are their timelines? Do they have a budget? It's all the same things, guys. All the 5, 6, 7 questions. Just memorize. I'm sure you'll have access to this recording, so memorize this. What is your buying process? Who's going to make the decision? Do you have one wife? Do you have 2 wives? Who do I have to talk to? Right? Who else needs to approve? Sorry, I'm just on a roll. Right? Does purchasing legal? Ask those tough questions. Don't make any assumptions. That's how you qualify. I'm here to help, guys. I'm here to help. A lot of you have got emails from me. I finish very often. I'm here to help. I'm here to help. I'm here to help. Be the resource they've been looking for. Dale, here's a question, the last one. What are the threats? What are the consequences of inaction, right? Dale, that's what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Listen, birds fly, fish swim, humans talk. So speaking, and then we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. That's a fundamental. Ask questions and shut up. If your client is not talking, you're selling. Stop selling. Be comfortable with silence. So get in rapport. That's why I'm saying don't start with people you don't know. Start with only people you know that they trust you. If they don't trust you, they're not going to talk about any problems. If they don't like you, they're not going to talk to you at all. That's what rapport and trust. If they trust you, they're going to say, hey, I got this problem. If they don't trust you, they're not going to talk about any problems. They don't know you. You can't even get into a sale without trust and rapport. Then don't sell them anything. Tell me what your problems. Hey, maybe I can. And then you do the Columbo move, and you're like, hey, let's solve this together. What about this? What about that? And let them talk about what the solution looks like, how much money they have, when they want to solve the problem, how they like to buy it's their solution. Then you go back and say, this is what you told me. Am I right? Go, right? Go talk to your boss and the team and stuff like that. You negotiate and win. You cannot, guys, miss any step. It's very consequent. If you don't have trust, they won't talk to you about their problems. If you really don't know their problems, how can you design a solution together? How can you propose if you don't know what they're going to buy? You can't miss a single step. If you lose a deal, you got to go back to trust. Means you didn't have enough rapport, communication, and trust for them to share what was really important. You missed the budget number. You missed the timelines. All the problems I'm having in sales is because we didn't do our work, and then I have to go back and fix it. I got to rehash the deal. And this is the breakdown of the percentage points. Get the introduction. I'm saying don't even worry about this for you until you've made some money. Work with the people you know. The value of that is at 40, 45%. With that trust very quickly now, boom, which is why I'm saying don't talk to people you don't know. Talk to people you trust, that you have relationships. They're already 45% ahead of the way. I'll say, hey, I'm now working with ExO and stuff like that, but it's really in the genre of transformation, sales, innovation, improving corporate value. What is the value of transformation? The value of the business goes up. What does every business leader want? I want to create more profit and more value in my business. It's fundamental, fundamental. And then you spend 50% of your time collaborating on a solution. Then you close, because now it's their solution. You should not waste any time on the close. If you're wasting time on the propose and close and negotiate, you didn't do your work over here. All right? Hold. Don't sell. Don't propose. Let me give you a proposal. Oh my gosh, worst words. They should beg you for a proposal. Hey guys, we're ready to go. I love everything you're saying. This is making a lot of sense. Send me the proposal. We're ready to go. Okay. Take away close. Boom. I'll give it to you. Let's go. All right. So if you want to grow $1 million business, and this can be for any company, right? You can working with us, working for yourself, with your own program, for a startup. If you've got an idea, Eduardo, you got a new idea you're trying to launch. Go to the people you know. Start with the friends, because if the people you have a relationship, right? This type, if you don't, it takes 45. Work with the people you already have rapport and trust with. Very, very, very important. Focus on them. Focus on the relationships you have. If you have quite a few, do a few emails, right? Leverage content. Educate, because you got to educate people. So, hey, I want to talk to you about this. Let's have lunch and whatever. Here's a video. Watch this video. This is the context in which I want to speak to you about. Leverage the content that we have if you're OpenExO. If you don't have content, leverage content. People don't want to talk too much. They want to first process themselves. We're becoming more technology, more introverted. So your sales process has got to feed them information and educate them on what's possible. It takes, how many times does it take for you to engage, right? So make sure you don't get disappointed. Like somebody says, no, I'm busy now. Touch base with them 5, 6, 7 times. So think in cadence. That's why I wanted that lady to start now, so we can talk to her customers 3, 4, 5, 6 times before she really needs business. Don't get desperate. Don't get sad. Build this into your practice. All right? So leverage emails, leverage LinkedIn. If you're selling EXO, talk about, we have a very good structured program called OpenExO. It scales from 1 person to companies of $100 million. Let's go, baby. What's holding you back? Leverage Salim, leverage all the content, leverage the recordings, leverage the podcast. You're not alone anymore. That's my promise to you. Drink the Kool-Aid, be part of the team. We've got hundreds of companies examples. If it's not an immediate similar, call me. Qualified. Don't talk to me about a suspect. You make sure it's a qualified lead and then bring me in if you're selling EXO. If you become one of our transformers, one of our referral partners. And I'll coach you on this again. If you got a product that you're selling, don't feel desperate. Go out, keep talking. If they say no, because now you're still talking to your friends, say why. And you learn a lot rehashing a deal of why they said no. Right? And because if you're not in a transaction, you're in fantasy. You're freaking fantasy. Oh, by the way, for most of us in the B2B space, use LinkedIn, is my opinion. I don't even waste time with Facebook and Twitter and all that crap. Focus on LinkedIn because you can really target. Google AdWords, waste. It's good for the B2C space. Sucky. Sorry, any marketing guys. But if any marketing you do, phase 2, phase 3, make sure you're A/B testing. Make sure you got the persona correct. Make sure you start small before spending money in advertising. I'm not a big fan. Relationships for the foreseeable future, I think, is a great way to go. Because why? My first slide, all business is personal. So if you're working with us, I want to hear a deal. I want to support you after you've done your homework and you've qualified them. We had a co-branding partnership. I had somebody who he had not even spoken to the customer and put me on a phone call. No, inappropriate. Do your work. Qualify, make sure they're anchored in a lead. They have a need that we can survive, that you can deliver. Then I'm totally happy to work with you. So work with the suspects and the leads and qualify that, hey, they've got a need and we kind of have a sense of, when they want to do this. But if they want to learn about OpenExO, that's you. Send them to the website, right? As an example. And then we'll follow the same process. We'll make sure we got a need, timelines, and budget. Boom. We'll do it together. Sales qualified lead, help them figure out what is their solution, what do they really want to solve, how much money do they really have, and when do they really want to do it. Then you start proposing, design a solution with them, and then you propose and negotiate because you know it's their system, solving their problem with the money they have, because that's what you figured out in the sales qualified process. And boom, you bring the deal in. Cross-sell, upsell after you deliver. Remember, if you're selling, this is where OpenExO, an average SMB engagement should be 12 months to 18 months. You truly stay, and you can be flexible. It's not the money will change and stuff like that. But you say, guys, frame it. And I want you to think with maturity and breathe. This is not a one and done. And for most solutions, you want a long-term relationship. So we sort of gone through this process on how to work with me. As qualified in MQL, bring me on board. You're not alone anymore. Even the first stages, use all the free content we have, right? In fact, you should even have them go become a member, right? Join the premium, become a pro. You still have value. You can still be their leader. Get them engaged. And when they say, hey, I got this problem, I think we should solve, MQL. Boom. Now bring them in, and then we'll do it together. All right. With that, here's my core information. I'll keep it up here for a little bit, because if you all want to schedule a call with me, please use that code. Click it on your phone. It'll work, and even on the recording and stuff like that. And this is for everybody on the call, guys. Nothing happens without a conversation. So get your customers and prospects to talk. Like, look, I'm eating my own dog food here. If you guys want to transform your business, if you want to scale and build your own consulting practice, call me. I'll take a call every day of the week. Forget an email campaign. You don't forget AI. No. Birds fly, fish swim, humans talk. Nothing of significance happens without a conversation. That's why we date. We don't just do it online. That's why we have summit meetings. That's why we have conferences. Right? So that's my thing. And just find me on LinkedIn as well. But yeah, please have conversations.